Hi Aquarius, my sun sign brothers and sisters, welcome to your July 2023 Astro-Tarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant signs. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Aquarius, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your, should I say, us on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So without further ado, I'm going to pop these here because those will be for our moons. And I'm going to get started. So right out of the gate, the first transit that I want to look at of the month is on July the 1st. Now, this one is a big deal. It is Venus squaring Uranus across the signs of Leo and Taurus. Now, this is a big deal. One, because as a fixed sign, this is going to hit you quite hard. I say hit you quite hard, that's probably poor language, but you are going to feel this more viscerally than a lot of the other signs because you are a fixed sign. That's the first reason that this is important. Second, this is happening across angular houses. The 4th house of home, property, family, real estate. The 7th house of relationship, partnership, commitment, one-to-one connections. These are what we call angular houses in astrology, which means we feel them that much more. Now, and then the third thing to remember, this is the first pass of this transit because Venus is going to go retrograde in the sign of Leo, because Uranus later on in the year is going to go retrograde in the sign of Taurus. We are going to have 3 connections of Venus squaring Uranus. If you were on my Venus webinar, then you will know all about this. If not, well, you can still get that out there somewhere. With that said, on July the 1st, this first pass, it wouldn't be a surprise if home and family tries to set you, if someone from your family ties tries to set you up, you might be like really resistant to it. Like, oh my God, you know what? Like, you've tried to do this before and you always bring me someone that's super gross, or like in my case, everyone's like, oh, you know, I know someone and they're gay too. And then when I meet them, I'm like, oh my gosh, no, retreat. This could be one of this could be one of those few times where they actually get it right. And you could be really surprised, all right? So I wouldn't also be surprised as well if you attract a partner or even lose your head and jump somebody's bones around this time. Be mindful about extramarital relationships at this time, or clandestine ones, because the chances are under transit like this, they could come to light. Meaning if you have a partner who's married, etc., just be careful, right? This could also be a gift of some kind that comes from a family member. Venus rules your 4th house and your 9th house. So maybe this is some kind of divinely bestowed gift that comes to you, like a true blessing of sorts. As it's a square though, you might find that a breakup ensues for some people. It's very possible. This close to the retrograde. So when a relationship breaks up in a retrograde of Venus, the chances are it doesn't stay broken up, right? They end up getting back together, or, you know, for those of you that have recently split from someone, that Venus transit may very well, you know, sort of pull you back together. It's possible. But because this is right at the beginning of the month and Venus doesn't go retrograde actually until the 22nd of July, I'm not sure how, you know, that's a very big orb to use. But still a possibility, who knows, right? The other thing with this as well, it could be that family, like maybe you partner up with someone, maybe you're in a relationship with someone already and your family can't stand them, or vice versa. And it could be that they both kind of vie for your, you know, well, you know, be on my side because I'm your partner, or be on my side because I'm your parent, or, you know, and then there's you in the middle kind of being pulled by both of these things. Just be careful with that. All right, for this, you have the 4 of Cups, the Justice card, yeah, okay, and the Empress. So if you are single and looking to mingle it does look like some of you are very focused. Sorry, I just want to make sure that you can see that. It does look like some of you are very focused on gaining a relationship or getting in one. And I gotta be honest, it looks like a lot of you could be meeting somebody very much by surprise that you don't expect to be that attracted to. And it might be that this, you know, potentially it might be somebody that is already partnered. So just watch out for that, because the thing is, if you meet somebody and they're partnered when you kind of meet them and you have this whole attraction, there's nothing to stop you being that person once they either get bored or whatever. Like, don't get me wrong, some people, when you meet them, they're, you know, at the end of a relationship and you meet and it's like really inopportune and all the rest of it. I'm not saying those kinds of things don't happen. What I am saying is look at the circumstances under which, right? That's just for a very select few of you. On the whole, though, if you're single, this looks wonderful. I really do feel like this could be a relationship, or at least a connection or a schmooze with somebody that kind of really takes you very much by surprise at how quickly you feel quite enamored by this person. And I got to tell you, you know, anytime the Empress shows up, whoever this person is, they're very, very easy on the eyes. All right, so the second transit that I want to look at with you is on the 11th of July. Mercury is coming into the sign of Leo, which again is your 7th house, right? Oh, I totally forgot. So each month I'm starting to typify the themes of the themes of the month, so that you have kind of like a bit more of a context to put the reading into. So for you guys, I should have put this at the beginning, so I apologize, but the themes for the month for you guys this month are home and relationships, money and contracts, and it looks like one of those is coming up here as well anyway. This could also actually be a new contract around your home and your property and your living situation. I probably should have mentioned that as well with that Venus square Uranus. Now, on the 11th of July, Mercury is coming into the sign of Leo, which is your 7th house. So again, speeding up this whole thing around contracts, negotiations, potentially having a lot of conversations around contracts of all kinds, personal, professional, platonic, because there is that energy of, you know, the 4th and the 7th going on. I'll talk about that a little bit later as well. This could also bring a lot of communication into your love life. So if you're single, Venus alone is going to do good work for you in that 7th house. But Mercury coming in here as well means that there's no shortage of options available to you. Conversations about relationships, you know, options, maybe having to choose between 1 or 2 partners, or maybe even several more. Mercury likes at least 2 options, right? It's an ambidextrous energy. As the ruler of your 5th and your 8th house, this is a flirty time, and it's a great time for you to be out and about, mixing, mingling, you know, boozing, schmoozing, if that's your kind of thing. I prefer to schmooze. I'm not really a big drinker, unless I'm partying, in which case I will go out and then I will be the guy that buys shots for everybody, because why wouldn't you? This could also be the forging of a contract that has like a creative slant to it in some regard, especially one that helps you draw more money to you in some way, shape or form. And it could be, it's also possible that there's a moment where substance over style kind of becomes a bit of an issue. So be mindful about what people are promising to you at this time. And also, to be fair, be mindful about what you can actually deliver versus what you do. But because it's in the 7th house, this is a lot of talks around personal, professional, platonic relationships. Could be a lot of fun, but it's very flirtatious. You got the 3 of Pentacles, so new information coming in with the Hierophant card. This is a solid opportunity to partner up with either somebody that is got a bigger profile than you, somebody that's got more followers than you, maybe somebody at work takes you under their wing. This is you buddying up or partnering up with somebody that really has a bigger base to draw from than you do. So for those of you that are business owners, maybe you come into a partnership with a business owner that is, you know, like a larger institution of some sort. And with this, you've got the Judgment card. This is huge change coming to the work and the contracts that you're forging. I love this. I love this, especially if you know what you're ready and able to deliver honestly with integrity at this time. Big changes coming up, and I gotta be honest with you, for a lot of you, this may be big changes that come up in your marriage. The reason I say that is because the Hierophant is a marriage card. And this transit of Mercury is in your 7th house of marriage, partnerships, commitments. So there's a big commitment coming in. For some of you, it will be professional. For others, it will be personal. For others, it might just be new friends or a new friendship group. Likely to be, you know, because Mercury is more than one, but the 7th house is usually about your one-to-ones. So I wonder how this might shape up for a lot of you. Now, on the 20th of July, Mars is going to oppose Saturn. So Mars is in the sign of Virgo, Saturn is in the sign of Pisces, which I'm sure many of you are aware of at this moment in time. This is happening across your 2nd, 8th house axis. This is the money axis, and this is a monetary reality check. Saturn in the 2nd is hard right now for a lot of you, and what it's basically saying to you is Saturn, it will make that area really hard, certainly within the first year. Then through its retrogrades periods, because it's a 2.5 year transit. But that first year of Saturn is really very hard, especially the first retrograde. It can really slow things down, and it can really make that area of our lives quite challenging. And because this is in a money house for you, it might feel like getting money out of, you know, earning money. It just comes much, much harder, and you kind of like, what is going on here? It's basically to teach you to learn to survive with less. So, and what happens is, like, you stop earning what you were earning almost immediately with Saturn in the 2nd, or even in the 8th, to be fair. By the end of the transit, you'll be making double what you were making before. But it requires your hard work, your patience, your diligence. You've got to get through to it, right? With Saturn, unless you're grafting it, there are no rewards. That's it. All right. So Saturn rules your 1st house and your 12th house, because it rules Capricorn as well. And in ancient astrology, sorry, my hay fever is driving me mad at the minute. In ancient astrology, Saturn is the ruler of Aquarius as well. Mars rules your 3rd house of communications, websites, your daily tasks and work, and also your 10th house of career, right? And your finances are suddenly limited and you want more, but Saturn's making you work harder for it and use like what is available to you to invest in yourself so that you can make use of your talents and skills in a wiser kind of way. Mars is bringing your attention to the 8th house, which means other people's money, taxes, loans, mortgages, etc. and the like could really be a big bugbear or a very big focus at the moment. This could be a debt that surfaces in some way as well, because the 8th house is debt. So I would be mindful about getting into any financial debts at the moment, especially big ones, all right, especially around this sort of period. It might also be that you have an opportunity show up for you, but you realize very quickly that the money that you need to make it happen maybe isn't available, right? So what this means is you have to get way more proactive, and you probably have to work even harder to squeeze the goodness out of it. But it's a solid one. So you got the five of swords with the 6 of pentacles. That's potentially harsh words about money, finances, and resources of a joint nature. And then you've got the Lovers card. So there are choices and decisions to be made here, and I feel like a lot of you will probably be taking stock of decisions and choices that you've already made when it comes to finances and money. Be careful around partnerships and resources at this moment in time, because they could be a little bit challenging and potentially a little bit unclear. Well, I say unclear. It's more a case of maybe they are clear, but you don't really understand what you're going to do about it, because now you feel like your back's pushed against the wall in some way. But again, remember what I said about that Saturn energy, and because on June the 17th, Saturn started its retrograde, you will be feeling this energy here, all right? Because Saturn will be retrograde at this time. Finally, on the 23rd of July, Mercury is going to come. Mercury in your 7th house is going to square Uranus, and Venus will go retrograde. So your relationships and also your professional and personal ties are coming into conflict here. And it might be that this is because of some information that's given to you. Now, I will say this, be mindful of the source of the information. I don't know why, but when I saw this for you guys in particular, because it's happening across that 4th and 7th house again, I almost feel like this is someone deliberately trying to derail you. It might be out of jealousy, it might be out of fear, it might be because they're in a lack mindset, whatever the case might be. It could also potentially be some kind of verbal manipulation that comes from a family member. Also worth noting that Mercury rules your 5th house and your 8th house. Uranus is the modern ruler of you, yourself, and your energy. So seeing you break ties with some kind of familial connection might be the only way ahead. This day is loud, whatever is happening, and I kind of wonder if there's some sort of dramatic flare up when it comes to family ties, etc. Now, when people try to suck you into it, radio silence, right? Whatever happens in the family, whatever nuclear bomb goes off in that space, just leave it be. Don't get involved in it. It could also potentially be a vehicle or an electrical item within the home that ends up costing you money. I really hope I'm wrong on that front, because obviously this is me too. So for this, no getting around it. You got the Tower card. Something explosive is happening around this with the Ten of Pentacles, literally a card of your actual physical home. And then you've got the Ten of Cups. So I love this, right? Okay, yes. There is potentially something here that goes bust, that breaks, that needs to be repaired, but then you finish on the Ten of Cups, which falls on the Ten of Pentacles, which does suggest whatever financial losses you suffer this month, you will gain back in the weeks ahead, probably within the, I would say about 6 to 10 weeks ahead, right? So I actually like this. I will say as well, 2 tens represents change. So this is, and this card actually represents the heart of the home. And this card actually represents the physical home itself, right? And the resources. So when I see this combined, it does suggest that there is a big change coming to the home here, potentially has an explosive slant, but once it's done, you will be able to move forward free and clear. Okay, so for your moons, on the 3rd of July, we have a Capricorn full moon, which for you is in your 12th house. Now, this is a big deal because it's shining a light in your personal closet, and it might be highlighting some of your bad habits, maybe some of your self-sabotaging tendencies. It's also a chance for you to rid yourself of something like that as well. And the message for this full moon is the gate 16 and enthusiasm. You might be encountering a person or people over the course of this month that really get you fired up, but they might not necessarily be the best influence on you. So you just need to watch out for that. All that said though, this full moon I think is one of enthusiasm. And the reason being is because it allows you to see yourself really clearly, and it will help you give yourself some grace. On the 17th of July, we have the Cancer new moon, which is for you in the 8th house. Sorry, it's in your 6th house. I've got it written down because sometimes I forget these and I get them wrong. And this gate 22 and grace card basically says, get creative. When it comes to the 6th house, this is your body, your work routines, your daily habit, your practices, your routines, rituals, things that you do on the everyday, but also it's how you maintain your everything, right? Get creative on your designs, your routines, your rituals, and how you maintain everything. And the other thing as well, if you're single, it's possible that some of you maybe meet a partner through your work or through your duties in some way, shape or form. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.